if you're in Pretoria, okay, and if you're in a government hospital in Pretoria, just know how to hey, because if you don't, it's like they automatically assume if you're South African, yeah, you must speak Tswana, Sotho, Sipitori, something. So now there I was with my little bit of Tswana that I knew, you know, ke re ke a zama hanyane, and ha ke bua Sekgowa, no ne ba nagana hore nna ke tswa or kanti ya ko Africa wa bona mo, yeah, ke tlile mo Sada ho tlo give a birth. Guys, here is another week, another video, and if you're watching this, it means that we won against the fight with Mutoto Wadogo. So YouTube 2 points, Mutoto Wadogo 0. But it almost didn't happen again this week. But every single time you see a video from me, just know that this woman, she fought. Welcome back to Chat with Disa, everybody. I think let's start with the gender. You know, like, what did you have, Mama? What did you have? And a lot of you guessed boy. I'm like, Ganjan, how? What thing do you see in a person's face, in a person's body, in a person's aura? Uguti, no, it was a boy. Oh, it was a girl. Because you got it right. It is a boy. And I think every parent, in every parent's eyes, their child is the cutest. Their child is just the cutest baby ever. And I get it now. Because when you're looking at other people's kids, you like judge uguti, oh, cute Lorna. Lorna, hi, u healthy, right, umntwana. But now when you have your own child, it's like, is this my offspring? Is this what we produced? So we produced a very beautiful little baby. One day, my sister posted, guys, don't judge now. Be like, this is who she thought is cute. Remember, those are your eyes. Our eyes as the parents, we feel like we gave birth to the cutest, the cutest little baby. Today, I want to speak about a topic that I don't feel ready to talk about it, and I don't think I'll ever fully feel ready to talk about it. I get emotional when I speak about it, which is also like, that's why coming to YouTube and speaking about it is like, are you really ready to take that risk? So mangaba emotionally nje, none of you will be here to give me the tissue, but you watching, I can see, I can feel already that I would have had your support. A lot of people don't know the birth story and might be finding out for the first time. When I say a lot of people that are close family and friends, and might be finding out for the first time here on YouTube. And maybe this is where I feel it's a neutral space to speak about it. So I'm sorry, don't take it personal. April. Let's go back now. I'm in China, I'm working, I get pregnant around September, October, and my husband and I talk about the fact that I don't feel comfortable giving birth in China. I would like to give birth in South Africa. And the reason why I want to give birth in South Africa, the main reason was the fact that in South Africa, I would have my family with me. I would have my friends. I would have support. I would be able to communicate what I need. When I come home, who's here for me, you know? So the conclusion was that we are going to have this baby in South Africa. We're going to be together, and maybe later on we can come back to China. But it wasn't a given period where we're like, yeah, we're going to come back at this time. So when you are expecting your first child, there's a certain way that you are. It's like you step into this realm of research. You research, man. Even if research is like just looking at a whole bunch of videos on Instagram, watching a whole bunch of podcasts about birth, about pregnancy, health, and all of those things. That's how you become. So we really, really wanted to increase any chance that we could get to have a natural birth. We really wanted our child to be brought into this world through the natural birth canal. And we knew that, okay, private hospitals, very high chance that we're gonna go caesarean. So we were like, okay, what, and also quite expensive. We're coming back to South Africa, we're both gonna be unemployed. So going private means that we're gonna take a huge bulk of our savings to pay for a private hospital. And we didn't have medical aid for obvious reasons. We're in China. And even if we had the one in China, I don't think they would have paid for birth in South Africa. But anyway, everything was gonna be cash. So we did research and we're like, wait a minute, we could go with a trained, professional, highly recommended, reputable midwife. Okay? Yes, I know the stories on Carte Blanche. I watched all of those things. I read all of those things about midwives. And I was like, Lord, please, not me. Nobody deserves this. If you don't know about those stories, I think I should add the links because I think more and more people need to be aware and cautious about midwives out there and home births and so forth. So we go with a midwife. We did our research. We found a reputable midwife. Great. In Pretoria, not far from where we were going to be staying. As soon as I arrived in South Africa, I had that support. I had that feeling that I wanted to have. I had my family to lean on emotionally, the women in my family especially. And I was taken care of. I was fed well. I was like, oh, now I'm really starting to enjoy pregnancy because with pregnancy, you want to feel rested, you want to eat good, all of that. So I finally got to feel that way when I got home. If you're going to go with the midwife, you need to have a backup. So your backup, in case of an emergency where you need to be taken to hospital, you either need to go to a private hospital or a government hospital. So you tell your midwife that, okay, I have medical aid and we are going to a government hospital. A private hospital. Or I don't have medical aid and I want to go to a private hospital or I want to go to a government hospital. So I said, if anything happens, we're going to a government hospital. We don't have medical aid and we won't be prepared to pay cash at a private hospital. So yeah, that's that. Then the midwife explains to me that you're going to need to have a particular book, this one, that is literally your gateway into giving birth at a government hospital. And the only place you can get this book is via consulting for your, is it antenatal, consultations at a government hospital, at a government clinic, and they will give you this book and they'll record every single visit, and they will, depending on the area as well, they'll kind of like recommend you to a particular hospital for you to give birth. But it doesn't really matter. As long as you have it, you can still give birth at other government hospitals. No problem. I got the book. I started going to a clinic down in the south where my aunt was staying and where I was staying with her. And that clinic, honestly, for a government clinic, I really think they were doing a great job. I would get there around 7, 8 in the morning. No, before 8, because my aunt would drop me off before she goes to work. And there would be a queue outside the clinic. Maybe there'd be like maybe 20 people before me. And I would be out of there by lunchtime, 1. And they were working. I was like very observant, like just watching everything, you know, and they really were like really trying their best. And obviously lunch is lunch, guys. Whether you work in government or not, you still need to go for your lunch break. So they would all go for lunch at the same time because the clinic closes at 4. When else is the other half gonna go for lunch? Do you know what I mean? So I didn't want to come in with this preconceived idea about government clinics and government hospitals. I was just like, let me be an observer of things. Let me be an appreciator of things. The fact that my country has a service like this, the fact that these nurses are doing their best, the fact that we're getting that assistance, and mainly that the fact that this service is free of charge, you know. And yeah, looking past the attitude, you don't know where it comes from. It's not personal. It's not about you. You don't know what's going on within their work environment. And yes, they should be professional. Yes, whatever. But I just looked at the fact that, did I get the help that I needed? Yes, I did. And I would go with a snack to ensure that if I sit for a very long time and wait, I have a snack with me, I have some water. And I would sit and like engage with the other pregnant ladies because I will pray, they were guided to go sit that side, the what that are here for. You know, you wouldn't really know, but you just saw that there's this division about who's sitting where. The moms, the babies were in one area, the preggies, they're in one area. Like, yeah, born Angie. So I would engage with the other pregnant women. I would engage with the kids while we're waiting. Sometimes in jail, you'll just have like a very off visit where the nurse shouted at you for something that was not related to you, that was about the queue. Yo, wang chika lo mamaloya. But I was like, I'm going to keep quiet. And what's funny is that after that first encounter with her, the second, the third, and every other encounter, we were good. We were so good. Her and I got along. And that's because I just made a conscious decision that I'm not going to take anything personal. We're getting closer and closer to the days. I am, should I call it what they call it on the internet, nesting, hey? Getting ready, packing the hospital bag. And if you guys want a video about what I packed for the hospital bag, let me know. I'll do a very short one for that. And I really kept it quite simple. Even the initial things that we bought for the baby, kept it very simple. Okay, the drama has begun. In China, they had told us that we would give birth around the 16th of July. In South Africa, at the clinic, the nurse estimated, first she said the 13th, then she thought I was carrying twins and told me to go have a scan done. And we're like, nope, it's not twins, it's just a big baby. And at that time in April, the baby was already weighing 3 kgs. And we still have May, June, July to go, 3 more months to go. She says between the 13th and the 16th. So we were just prepared, Uguti. Anything could happen on the 16th or in that week. The midwife knows. I did a few consultations with her as well. We signed the contract that we needed to sign. We saw the birthing center beforehand. We were happy with everything. We were happy with her accreditations. We were happy with her experience. We're just fine. There were no, you know, we were just like, okay, what happened? The main question I had every single time we consulted with her was, what happens if you have another mom in labor and I'm also in labor? And she said in that instance, she will send her backup midwives. They work with other midwives and those would be her backup, and the same way she's also their backup. I was like, okay, no problem. On the 16th of July, I wake up in the morning and I go to the bathroom. And I notice something that was never there before, and I've never seen it. I call my husband. I say, love, what's this? This I've never seen, and I don't have any pain, but we agree that we're going to message the midwife and alert her so that she knows. She then says, I think you've lost your mucus plug. And what texture is it? And keep updating me throughout the day about how you're feeling and what's happening within your body. I'm on the phone with a friend, I'm eating, I'm drinking water, I'm keeping up with the fluids and with food, because I knew that if I'm gonna go into labor anytime soon, I'm gonna need the energy, I'm gonna need the fluids, and let me rest as well. So I'm trying to take naps. Hubby's keeping busy in the yard, also still checking up on me, like, am I okay? In the evening, we're sitting and watching a series. Throughout the day, I was uncomfortable, and I'm updating the midwife, letting her know how I'm feeling and what more I'm seeing. And I'm sitting and watching a series with hubby, and I keep feeling pain. I keep trying to move around, but the pain keeps intensifying. And I let the midwife know what I'm feeling, and she says that download this app and start timing the pain that you're feeling, because it could be that you're having contractions, but we're not sure yet. So we download the app, hubby's tracking the contractions, and there are huge gaps between. I send her the screenshots, she says no, they need to be a little more regular, and even the breaks in between, it needs to be a certain time. So we keep communicating, and now it's past midnight. So now we've fallen onto the 17th. It's midnight, and I say to her, I really don't think that I will make it through the night. So she says, I'm currently with another mom who is birthing, and I'm going to give you the contacts of the backup midwives, and I'm going to notify them as well. And if you need anything, contact them, and you guys can go to the birthing center. At around 2 a.m., we get in the car and we go to the birthing center. The midwives are there. There are 2 of them. They're ready for me. They've set up the room with everything medically that they would need. There's this huge tub for me to get in the water to help me relax. The first thing they did when we arrived was finger insertion to check how far dilated I am. And when we got there, they said, I think 3-4 centimeters. So that gave me hope. I'm like, okay, so I am in labor. So this baby is going to come maybe in a few hours. And the contractions are like nothing I have ever felt in my life. And any woman who has felt contractions, you probably know what I'm talking about. I've never felt pain like that. It's like hell. It's like, I don't know, you're paying for every wrong thing you've ever done in your life. Husband is there with me. He can see the pain that I'm feeling. He's trying his best as well to help me stay comfortable. The midwives are coming in regularly to come and check how far dilated I am. They were with us the whole night, and in the early hours of the morning, they took a break. And both of them took a break. And they leave us at the birth center. As it's happening, I'm not thinking about how that, no, I think we did have this conversation with my husband, but I was still in pain, where it's like, why would both of them take a break? What if something happened in the middle of all of this that would need them? My husband has my phone, he is talking to them, and they keep checking up on us, but they're not there. They took a break. I get it, they were there the whole night, but I don't think both of them should have taken a break. And it's not like in that birth center, there wasn't any space for them to maybe take a break and alternate between the 2 of them. So we didn't take a liking to the fact that they both took a break, and they came back like early evening or late afternoon. I'm not sure what time, but I probably have all of that on my WhatsApp. In between, hubby's brother brings us food. I try to eat, but here's the thing about giving birth and contractions. They will not stop until that baby is out. So every few minutes, contractions. Every few minutes, contractions. So the last time I slept was the night of the 15th. 16th, no. 17th, no. So I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and this baby is still not coming. When the midwives come back, they check me again, and they're like, oh, you're about 6 centimeters. So now it's giving me hope. Okay, we're getting there more and more and more. And I've done research about dilation, so I'm like, okay, there's progress. They're like, okay, let's get more water into the bath, warm water, relax in there. And I did feel a bit more relaxed when I was in the water, but generally I was in uncontrollable pain, and I didn't know what to do with myself. They say sit on the ball, it just feels more painful. Sit on this birthing stool, it feels more painful. It's wild. And my husband is also tired. He's also hungry. But he's also at the same time trying not to leave me. He's trying his best to just stay there supporting me. Now it's the 17th, and we've been here since 2 a.m. in the morning. We've spent the whole day, and now we're going into the night. And they keep checking the baby's heartbeat. Heartbeat is fine, baby's fine. And because I watched so many of these videos about birth and all of that, something tells me, wait, if the baby's heartbeat is fine and I've been in labor for so many hours, I'm so tired, I'm so hungry, I'm exhausted. I still have to give birth to this baby, and I still need my strength, and I still need baby to also have a strong heartbeat and the strength also to come out. So before the emergency happens, I decided that no, love, let's get an ambulance. And we let the midwives know on their next check that nope, we're gonna be opting for the ambulance. They check me, they say now you're 8 centimeters dilated. And I'm like, wait, 8 centimeters? The baby could come anytime, but I don't wanna take any chances. Let me rather be in a hospital where if there's any emergency, they can help me. Okay, these contractions from the word go, they've never been regular, they've been irregular. They've been irregular the whole time, and there's no sense of like urgency from them. There's something wrong here, The ambulance comes, they put a catheter in me because that's the requirement. They called somebody from the hospital. I thought they were taking me to Steve Biko Hospital, but nope, they were not taking me to Steve Biko because apparently Steve Biko was full. I don't know what full means when it comes to a hospital in an emergency, but anyway, she was speaking to a nurse from Kalafong Hospital, and she tells the nurse everything. Here's a mother in labor. She's 8 centimeters dilated. She's coming in this condition, etc. And they just tell her, okay, no problem, put a catheter in her. So she puts a catheter in me, and I think that's a requirement if you're being transferred from another medical institution, or is it institution? That's the English, ne? Institution, another medical institution to another, they need to put a catheter in you because she said, in case you go into surgery, okay? She said, in case you go into surgery, they want you to have a catheter on. So a catheter, they literally put it in your pee hole, and it's gonna be taking out your urine and filling up this bag, and you gotta carry the bag. Now I get into the ambulance, and I am in such a state. Hubby's in the front with the driver, and I'm in the back with the other, what do they call the ambulance people? I have these issues when I'm talking sometimes. Emergency medical person, okay? So I'm grabbing his leg, I'm pulling on him, and he's encouraging me to do it. He says, Do it, mama. I know what you're going through. I've seen it all. Go ahead, do it. He's asking me for my information. And I'm just like, not now. But I'm pulling on him as we're doing it. It felt like the longest ambulance ride. When we get to the hospital, they also have to brief the nurses and the doctors there. First thing they do, again, check you. They check you with their fingers to see how dilated you are. They check me and they're like, no. Shock of my life, shock of my husband's life, shock, just a shock. They're like, the midwife said she's 8 centimeters dilated. This woman is not 8 centimeters dilated. She's probably around a 3 or a 4. Excuse me? But I can't say I'm in pain. And one of the nurses there, she's just being so rude. Nkosiam, from the moment I've arrived, I'm in so much pain. You're just being rude. My husband is still next to me with my hospital bag that we've packed, and he's being told that he won't be able to stay, and he's trying to make sure I'm going to have everything that I need. And the doctor's just going on like they're being so casual, you know. No, what was she talking about? She's not 8 centimeters dilated. She's about a 3 or a 4. I like the fact that she called her colleagues. She calls her colleagues and she tells the colleague to also check. The colleague checks and agrees with her that no, this woman is not 8 centimeters dilated. This woman is about a 3 or a 4. So they ask me, when did you go into labor? So I tell them, this is what happened on the 16th, and I tell them as much as I can tell them. Then they say, we're going to put you on a drip where we're going to try and see if we can induce you, okay? And then they put those belts now. Now I'm alone. Hubby has to leave and he goes home to obviously rest and eat and gather energy to come back and maybe bring me food as well, because I'm at a government hospital. We don't know what to expect. I remember the room I was in and the robe I had to wear. I got the shock of my life. I was like, I have to wear this. It had this huge hole. It was ripped. It was as though it was ripped like this. And then the next person that wore it or whatever tried to rip it further to make a way to tie it. And then they gave me that too. It was clean, but it was ripped and it's open here. It's almost like I'm bare-chested. I've got this catheter. There are nurses coming in and out, all of them, fingers first, checking me. Now they're not like the midwives where at the birthing center, they use some gel, some lube and check you nicely. No, here they just like putting it in and being so rude and just being so rude. Bums down, put your bums down, relax. Para. Making ugly utterances. As if putting your fingers in someone so roughly is comfortable. So the other one tells the other one that I'm coming from a birth center where they were midwives. Yeah, Baba midwives. No, how much did you pay? They were so rude. But at the same time, I kept telling myself that there was a word, there was a thing I kept saying to myself that this is just an experience in life. You're going through an experience in your life, in your long life, in your big life. It's an experience. This is a life experience. I kept saying that sentence to myself in the pain that I was feeling, that this is going to be a moment in my life, in my long life. It's just going to be a moment and it feels like it's forever right now, but this is a life experience. Everything I'm experiencing, everything I'm feeling, everything I'm hearing, just surrender to it. There's nothing you can do. You need these people and this baby is about to come out. Eventually, the student nurses come. They explain to me, you're going to go into surgery. They're all in different uniform. There's some students from the University of Pretoria, some from other universities. They're all in their uniform, like their school uniform, and they've come to tell me you're going to be going into surgery and you need to sign these forms. It's like a game for him. As soon as I start speaking, he goes, You're going to need to sign these forms. They're not necessarily explaining to me what the forms indicate, but I'm in no position to read these forms. I'm near death. There's nothing in me. So I don't even know how I signed. She just said, do your best, do what you can. I don't even know what sort of signing I did there. Then they wheel me into surgery. As soon as we got into surgery, there was this man, and I won't forget him. I don't know what his role was. I don't know if he was like a senior like doctor, or was he a student? I don't know what he was, but he seemed a bit older. And I remember him being a bit biggish, but I didn't really get to look at him because he was always by my bed, by my head, like when I was being wheeled. And there are other students around me. I remember theater having a lot of people. He's by my head as I'm on this bed and being wheeled. And I just remember him telling me to be calm, telling me to relax, explaining to me everything that was going to happen to me. I remember feeling very cold after the surgery, and I tell him, hey, I feel cold, and he informs the other doctors that I'm cold, and then they did this thing where it was like a bubble ventilator thing with air, hot air to warm me up. When they got the baby out, they came with him to like where I was sleeping, and the nurse that held him in her hands, she says, she's calling me, but she sounds very far, like really, really far away. She's like, Theodora, here's your baby. And she's holding this big baby whom at birth weighed 4,108 grams, which is essentially 4.1 something kg at birth. And she's holding him. And I turned to look, and in that moment, I'm so scared to forget what he looks like, because I knew that they're going to take him away and then bring him back to me at some point, and I don't want them to bring the wrong baby to me. So I look really hard, but I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm finished. And I'm trying to think, am I going to remember the little baby that I just saw? But I remember those hands. They were open like this. Yes, your hands open like this, just with lots of hair and beautifully brown. I'm like, I think I'll remember. And then the nurse smiled, and then that man that was there with me, he said congratulations. I don't remember what else he said, but I just remember him being a pillar of strength in that surgery room. Then they sewed me together, but I just remember there being a lot of doctors. So I think there were some doctors and the rest were student doctors who were being trained or whatever. I don't know, but I get sewn. And when they're taking the baby out, you can feel what they're doing, but you can't feel the pain. So I felt them do it. And then they wheeled me to the passage within the surgery area, and they said, we're going to leave you here for 30 minutes just to see if anything happens with you. If not, then we're going to wheel you to the ward where everybody stays after surgery. I get wheeled to that side. There are also other moms who have given birth. How? They bring the baby and put the baby right there on the bed next to me. When I get to that ward, I can't feel the bottom half of my body. I still am asking the nurses to please give me water, please give me food. I can't. They said, no, we cannot. You have to wait for 6 hours. Yes, they said I have to wait for 6 hours. I was like, I can't. I don't know what's going to be of me by the time we get to 6 hours. Luckily, at the time when surgery was done, it was visitation hours, and hubby was able to come in, and he bought me my favorite food from the Woolworths Cafe. Every time we had gone to Woolworths Cafe to eat, he bought me what he knew I liked, and a nice drink and some water and all of that. But unfortunately, I couldn't eat it at that time. I had to wait for the 6 hours. My 2 aunties also came and they saw the baby. And then I said to him, please dress the baby, because he was wrapped in this green cloth. He was just wrapped in this cloth. Bebamsulile, and he was clean. And yeah, he was just in this cloth and he was just put next to me. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't lift him. He was just there. So when they came, they just came at a very convenient time, at least, because I wasn't going to be able to dress him. And luckily he didn't cry, because had he cried, I wouldn't have known what to do, because I couldn't move. I was so exhausted, and I've just come out of surgery, you know. I thought they would bring the baby at least after maybe those 6 hours, or bring him in a bed. Maybe those are private hospital things, but they put the baby right there. And then after those 6 hours, a nurse came and she told me to stand up. I thought she was joking. She's like, no, you're gonna have to stand up. You have to stand up, and there's a certain blood that needs to flow out of you that shows me that you are okay. And she put the baby in that wheeled bed that I expected him to be in when he was brought to me. She put him there. It's like, don't worry about the baby. Let me help you. You need to stand up. I stand up. She puts a cloth on the floor, and she sees the blood that she wanted to see. And then she says to me, now you need to walk to your room. So now I'm moving from this ward where there were other moms, and I'm going to go to this room where there's another woman, and there's going to be me. And she says I have to walk there. So they're not going to put me on a wheelchair and push me there. No, I have to walk. It was the most impossible walk I've ever needed to do. She pushes the baby there, leaves the baby there, and she keeps urging me on. Uguti, woza sisi, let's go. I'm like, you expect me to walk? After this, you expect me to like be straight up and walk? I don't know how long I took, and I didn't care what she was saying, but I got there eventually. When I got there, there was another lady with her baby, and I tried to eat and drink water, everything that my husband had brought me to eat. And had he not brought that food, I wouldn't have had food again until the next morning when they served us breakfast. So there was no food served to me. So had he not brought that food, I will reiterate, I would have had no food. And they're encouraging us to breastfeed. And luckily my milk did come, and I was able to breastfeed him. And then in the morning, the next visitation time, my husband came, my aunt came, and they were moving me from that ward to the postnatal ward, where most of all the women that had given birth were kept, who were fine. So problem is, the postnatal ward is quite far from where we are. And once again, no wheelchair, you must walk. The nurse takes the baby. So I get so anxious at that point where I'm like, where is she taking the baby? Where is this place that we're going? And I tell my aunt, please go ahead, like go with her, go see where she's taking the baby. We will get there after you. I'm walking with my husband. It's such a long walk. And it's longer because of the pain that I'm feeling. And we get to the postnatal ward, and there are lots of moms in there, and it's quite clean. It looks fine. And I'm assigned a bed, and there are nurses there as well. And in that ward, the food was good. They fed us breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The lady who was serving the food, of course she was rude. Of course she was. But the food was good, and it was served on time. The ward itself, the nurses there, I think there was, I don't know if it's the head of those nurses or whatever, but she created this environment. They had a culture. You could see that they have a culture of praying. They have a culture of positivity to a certain extent, but there'll always be that thing that comes out, you know? But I liked that in the morning, they would say we need to get out of bed, tidy up our beds, and gather in one area in the ward where we would do morning exercises, where they would teach us something about what we're going through. For example, how to clean the wound, how to breastfeed your baby, how to care for your baby, the benefits of continuing to try and breastfeed your baby, what to do when you get home. I didn't like the fact that they were trying to ensure that we all go on contraceptives, forcefully so, before we leave the ward. I remember refusing it with, I don't know, all my might. But I'm not giving consent. They kept insisting that no, go on birth control. Before you know it, you will be back in this ward. I guess they know better because they work in that environment. They've seen these sort of things, but that doesn't mean you have to force me to go into to take birth control. Respect my wishes. I even told them for me to be pregnant right now, it wasn't a mistake. Okay, I'm 30 years old, having my first child. There's a reason for that. So please don't push me to go on birth control. And you know how it is. They'll tell the other nurse and the other nurse. And when you put your foot down, you have an attitude and hada. Hey, the bathrooms were, you know those bathrooms, go taxi rank, those ones where you have to pay a bit of a 2 rand, ne? Those ones are spanking clean compared to the bathrooms we had in that ward. The bathrooms were atrocious, and we were meant to go and bath there. All of us in one bathroom. There was a bath and 2 toilet cubicles and a place where we disposed of nappies and our pads and all of that. But it was filthy. It was so filthy that I'm just like, we could catch infections. You've just come out of surgery. Some people have stitches. Even if it was natural birth, we could get sick from just this bathroom alone. I ended up being in that ward for 6 days. They picked up that the baby had signs of yellow jaundice, and we had to stay until we got cleared by the doctor to leave. Overall, I'll give my government hospital experience a 6 out of 10. Number 1 being, why weren't the bathrooms clean really in a ward where women have to go in there and bath, use the bathroom? They've just come out of surgery. Number 2, doctors and nurses, I don't know what needs to happen in our country for their attitude to really change. There were some that I will never forget them because they were so kind. They were so thoughtful, so helpful, so positive, so loving and caring. And then there are those who will just, it's like, they'll go and undo all of that, you know? I got what I needed. I got the help that I needed. And I'm still proud to say, in my country, I'm able to get the medical help that I need from the government, you know? Caesarean section healing was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, and that's a story I'll probably share on my Instagram, Tessa_NTL. If you made it this far, thank you. And I didn't cry. And I'm just grateful that today I'm looking at our son, you know, and I'm also here. I made it, and I'm able to be here to take care of him. He has his mom. And be careful of midwives. Would I go the midwife route again? I don't know. So now, every morning in that ward, the postnatal ward that I woke up in for 6 consecutive days, loved the vibe, loved it. Spectandazwa, we exercised, you know what, those nurses, they really made you feel, they uplifted your spirits a bit, like being in a ward, being in bed, being with the baby, being in pain. They just made you start your day a little more refreshed. Although, like exercise early that I'm about to do with y'all now, Nana, there's your ball, you see now. It was a lot, man. It was a lot. Very Johnny Watsamaya. If you know it, let me know. Johnny Watsamaya, Kalilingwe. Now I'm gonna get the numbers wrong because I don't know how to count in Tswana. Kalilingwe, Johnny Watsamaya. Is it Betty? Is it Tswana? I don't know. Kaveli, Johnny Watsamaya. Laburaru. Now here's the action, ne? So, Kiyomutu, wapainelwa ne, and who busy. Johnny, okay, so, wait, what did we do? Was it one? Oh, we do with the 1 foot first. So, Johnny Watsamaya, Kalilingwe, Johnny Watsamaya, Labubedi, Johnny Watsamaya. Laburaru, Johnny Watsamaya, Kaliline. I don't even know what's number 4, but I'm trying. It's what I remember. Sibate, siakula, I can still feel it. It's like the memory is here. Sibate, siakula, Sabafishane, Sotogolosh, and then they're going lower and lower. Sabafishane, Sotogolosh, Sabafishane, okay, yeah, but essentially needing to touch your toes. Sivate, siakula. Ha, Johnny Watsamaya. Such simple actions that now in our caesarean section, it's painful. It is so painful. But there's a joke with my aunties. They always, when they just want to make me laugh and remember my time, go Kalafong, ne? They will do Johnny Watsamaya, Kalilingwe, Johnny Watsamaya, every morning without fail, and they wanted you to do it. We would do it until everybody does it. And if you have an attitude in J, they would point it out. When you were in labor, you didn't have an attitude. You want to have an attitude here. When the babies cry, they're like, no, that's a baby's job. It's to cry. Leave the babies on the bed, mamas, and come and exercise. Yeah. Kalafong. Kali, ki Kalafong. That's your other nickname. My aunties call him that. Where ki Kalafong? Ki Woolies. Hi guys, for further stories, for further nitty-gritties about Kalafong, birth, post-birth, parapam, on Instagram. I'll be writing and adding pictures. Tessa_NTL. Thank you, Nakansa, for making it all the way to the end of this video. And let me know, maybe Johnny Watsamaya, Waya China. Let me know in the comments. That's how I'll know that you guys know you're the champions that made it all the way to the end. Yes! I wouldn't have gotten that level of entertainment at a private hospital, Batong. My offspring, Batong. Kola.